What if the person who keeps changing interests isn't actually losing? You've probably heard the advice: pick one thing, focus on it, ignore everything else. And it sounds logical, but here's the uncomfortable question. What if focusing on only one interest has a hidden cost? Because some of the world's most valuable ideas didn't come from staying inside one box. They came from connecting different boxes. And science has a fascinating explanation for why. Imagine two people. Let's call them Alex and Jordan. Alex chooses one field at 18. He studies it, practices it, works in it, and for 10 years, he becomes extremely good at that one thing. Jordan is different. He loves psychology, then technology, then business, then writing, then design. People around Jordan start saying, "You need to focus. You're wasting your potential. You'll never become successful if you keep jumping between interests." And honestly, sometimes they're right. If Jordan constantly starts things and never develops any meaningful skill, multiple interests can become distraction. But there's another possibility. What if Jordan eventually learns how to connect those interests? That's where things get interesting. Research in creativity and expertise suggests that deep expertise is extremely valuable. The more time you spend deliberately practicing a skill, the better you can become at it. That's the advantage of the single interest person. They can go deeper. They develop specialized knowledge. They recognize patterns others miss. And in highly technical fields, that depth can be incredibly powerful. But creativity has another ingredient: connecting ideas that normally live in different worlds. Psychologist Dean Keith Simonton, among other creativity researchers, has studied how creative achievement relates to breadth, productivity, and combining ideas. And research on cognitive flexibility also shows the value of being able to shift perspectives and generate different approaches to problems. In simple terms, depth helps you master a field. Breadth helps you see possibilities between fields, and when you combine them, something powerful can happen. Think about an entrepreneur. If they understand only business, they may understand business deeply, but imagine someone who understands business plus psychology plus technology plus storytelling. Suddenly, they can ask questions other people don't. Why do customers behave this way? How can technology solve the problem? How should the solution be explained? How can the business actually make money? Those aren't four separate interests anymore. They're becoming one system. And that's the hidden advantage of having multiple interests. You don't necessarily win because you know everything. You win because you can connect things other people keep separate. Consider Leonardo da Vinci. He wasn't interested in only one subject. He explored art, anatomy, engineering, observation, mechanics, and nature. His curiosity crossed boundaries, and those different interests didn't necessarily compete with each other. They reinforced each other. His understanding of anatomy influenced his art. His observations of nature influenced his scientific thinking. His engineering curiosity pushed him toward mechanical ideas. His power wasn't simply that he knew many things. It was his ability to connect what he knew. And that idea remains incredibly relevant today. Look at modern careers. Some of the most interesting professionals aren't simply the best programmer. They're the programmer who understands design, the designer who understands psychology, the marketer who understands data, the entrepreneur who understands technology and storytelling. These people often operate at the intersection of multiple disciplines, and intersections are where new opportunities frequently appear. Because if 10,000 people are competing to become experts in a narrow category, the person who combines 2 or 3 valuable skills can sometimes create a category of their own. However, don't misunderstand the message. Having multiple interests does not automatically make you successful. There's a huge difference between being multi-interested and being multi-distracted. The distracted person constantly says, "I want to learn this. Then, I want to try that. Then, maybe I'll start something else." 6 months later, nothing is finished. That's not versatility. That's unfinished curiosity. The successful multi-interest person does something different. They build depth in at least one area while using their other interests to expand their thinking. Think of your skills like the letter T. The vertical line represents deep expertise. That's your core skill. The horizontal line represents breadth, your knowledge of other areas. This is sometimes called a T-shaped skill profile. You don't need to become an expert in 10 different fields. Instead, go deep in one, explore several others, then look for connections. For example, deep skill in video production plus psychology plus storytelling plus marketing can become something much more valuable than any one skill alone. So, who actually wins? The person with one interest or the person with many? The answer is neither one automatically wins. The real winner is the person who knows when to focus and when to explore. Focus creates mastery. Exploring creates possibilities. Focus without exploration can become a tunnel. Exploration without focus can become chaos. But combine them and you get something much more powerful: mastery with perspective. So if you have multiple interests, don't feel guilty about them. Instead, ask yourself 3 questions. Number 1, what is the one skill I'm willing to become exceptionally good at? That's your anchor. Number 2, what other interests genuinely energize my curiosity? Those become your supporting skills. And number 3, where do these interests overlap? That's where your unique advantage might be hiding. Maybe you're interested in psychology and business, maybe coding and design, maybe fitness and content creation, maybe finance and storytelling. Don't ask, which interest should I kill? Ask, how can I connect them? Because maybe you've been interpreting your curiosity the wrong way. Maybe you're not unfocused. Maybe you're still discovering your intersection. But remember, don't use multiple interests as an excuse to avoid commitment, and don't use focus as an excuse to stop learning. Go deep enough to become valuable, go broad enough to become creative, and then connect the two. Because the future may not belong to people who know only one thing. It may belong to people who know one thing deeply and understand how it connects to everything else. If this changed the way you think about your interests, like this video, subscribe to Rise Beyond, and keep exploring what you're capable of becoming. Rise Beyond, because your potential is bigger than one box.